Good evening, everyone. I guess we'll get started. It's a little past 6:30. My name is Gerard Mitchell, and I'm the chairperson of the Prince Edward Island Electoral Boundaries Commission. The other commissioners I'd like to introduce are Lynn Murray on my immediate right, and next to her is Libby Shaw, and on my immediate left is Kerry Carpenter, and my far left is Elmer MacDonald. The function of the Commission is to review the 27 electoral districts of the province and to make a report to the legislature setting out recommendations for changes to the areas, boundaries, and names of the districts. And in doing that, there are some things that were required by the legislation to consider. Those are the Charter of Rights, in particular Section 3, which is the right to vote. We have to look at the register of electors, polling divisions from the last general election, geographical features, information pertaining to population, communities of interest, municipal boundaries, public input from meetings such as this, and anything the Legislative Assembly passes on to us by way of guidelines. They haven't done any so far. And in addition, the Commission can take into account other factors that it considers relevant. As part of the process, we're required to hold meetings such as this one to enable people to come forward and give us representations with respect to the areas, boundaries of the various districts. The Commission is to make its report within 6 months of its establishment, which will take us somewhere to the end of May. There is a difference that I want to point out. In 2004, there was an Electoral Boundaries Commission report, but it was not accepted by the legislature. However, this time, the legislature has to accept our recommendation, so it's important for people to make their positions known to us at this time. It's important also to recognize that when we're doing the boundaries, they're intended to last through 3 election cycles, in other words, about 10 years or a little more. So we have to bear in mind not only the population as it exists, but also population trends as well as the present numbers. And the Commission has no authority to add to or subtract to the 27 districts. We only can make changes to the boundaries of the 27. There's 27 when we start, there has to be 27 when we end. As you may have noticed, the Commission has brought with it three maps. One shows the current map and 2 others at the back of the room, and I think they're available outside too. Those are maps that the Commission has produced as samples just to show how the districts might be adjusted. I have to say at this point in time that these maps are just samples. The final map may look quite different from either of those samples. They're just drawn up for the purpose of engaging people in discussion. We were told the last time the Electoral Boundaries Commission went on the road, they didn't have a map, and that was considered a bit of a drawback because it was difficult to engage people in discussion without some sort of map to at least have a look at. And on those maps, the colored areas show the districts that have been drawn up by the Commission, and the black overlay shows the districts as they were, so you can sort of compare the differences. When I say that changes are necessary, that's because some districts are presently too large and some are too small. Presently, we have about 100,000 voters in the province. And if we were to make all the districts the same, that would mean there'd be about 3,700 voters per district. That average or number of voters is important because the discretion of the Commission is fettered both by the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms and by the Electoral Boundaries Act itself. The Charter, which is the supreme law of the land, requires that deviations from the average must be justified on the grounds that such deviation contributes to a better representation for the population as a whole. The Electoral Boundaries Act, on the other hand, provides that no district can be above or below the average by more than 25%. At present, there are 3 districts which are more than 25% above or below. Those 3 are Stratford, Evangeline, District 24, and District 9. 5 more are over 20%, 4 more are over 15%, and 1 more is over 10%. So this means that there's at least 13 districts that could be considered as either too big or too small. And you have to keep in mind that the Supreme Court of Canada, in interpreting the right to vote in Section 3 of the Charter, has decided that the only variances allowable in the context of electoral boundaries are those that can be justified in the name of more effective representation for the population as a whole. Voter parity is therefore of prime importance, but the Supreme Court also acknowledged that it is not the only factor to be taken into account. Effective representation is the overall goal at the end of the day, and it can't be achieved often without taking into account countervailing factors like geography, municipal boundaries, growth and decline, community history, group identity, minority language, and culture. So numbers are important in establishing electoral boundaries, but establishing electoral boundaries is not simply an arithmetic exercise. At the end of the day, the goal is effective representation, and there may well be factors that justify departure from strict parity. Not everything that counts, in other words, can be counted. Now, I want to turn this meeting over to you people to give you an opportunity to ask questions, make presentations or submissions. We're here to hear what you have to say, and we want to we want to hear from you, and we'll be glad to try to entertain any questions you may have. And I might say that when you go up to the mic, because everything is being recorded, please state your name at first. So we're open for submissions.
Did you guys have any letters or submissions from people that you could read that might have been submitted for the Montague meeting?
We've had about a half a dozen written submissions. We don't have them with us. Is that what you were asking?
Yes.
And she's asking if they're just for the Montague.
Oh, just for the Montague? No, they weren't all from the Montague. There were maybe 2 from the Montague area. Paul's got one there.
Right. See if I've got it.
You might have it.
I might have.
Paul may. He's just checking, I think, yeah.
I have to get connected to the internet first.
Rural downfall. Rural downfall.
Okay,
So I have some of them, okay.
no.
Lisa Jackson. Jamie. No. I want to speak. Here, this one here is, that was one, okay.
Okay, Paul has one here, I think.
Hi, my name's Paul. This is on behalf of Gene Jackson, who wrote in. And Gene says, we are in District 2, Georgetown, St. Peters. We don't feel we should be. We think it would make sense to be in the Montague district. Our children go to school in Montague, play sports in Montague, go to church in Montague. We even pay mortgage, fire dues. We drive through Montague to go to a polling station. Montague is where we have community interest. Looking at the map, I believe you have Panmure Island, Sturgeon, Albion, and Montague. But children in those communities go to Southern King's School. Half our road voted Montague. The other half voted District 2. So you don't use natural boundary for this district. I'm not sure which map she's looking at. I think that would be 1-1. Yeah. We don't feel like we have anything in common with St. Peter's District or even Georgetown for that matter. Maybe a natural boundary could be the Knox Dam waterfall, or better still, the main highway to Pools Corner, with one side being Montague and the other being District 2. And that would be better for the children for their school districts. Sorry I don't have the week requested submission, but only found out about this meeting yesterday.
Is that the one you're thinking about? Just want to make a point. I think she's talking about one of the sample maps, but the sample maps, we haven't adopted those maps. They're not the map that it's not something that we're selling. We're something you can look at. But so wherever something is on those maps, that may be changed in the end. Yeah.
Whoops, that's good. Muriel Power. She's talking about the map as it is right now.
Oh,
I live in District 2.
Okay, oh, I see. She's talking about the current, this one
Yeah.
on the wall here.
She's in District 2.
Okay.
And
She thinks she should be in
she should be in Montague.
in
She
3.
thinks- Yeah. It'd be
Okay.
very easy to change that.
Okay, yeah.
And,
Yes.
yeah, and I beg you not to do that this time.
Okay.
It was done the last time, and it's a nightmare to have one side of the road in one district and the other side of the road in another district. Take the whole road or take none of that road, go somewhere else. I phoned in to try to find out, to move things around, and they said you have some special qualities here with your software that you can do that. So I did ask, could I meet with whoever has developed this software? And they said, no, I had to come to one of these meetings. If I could have met privately, I would have a lot better idea of what's going on or what I feel should be going on.
Well, we have Terry with us here this evening. He's our mapper, and he can move that around for you
Okay,
and show you what it might look like.
Probably I'll meet with him later and put a submission in later.
Okay.
But for now, without knowing, if you take in a certain road or eliminate a certain road, how many people are you eliminating? For me, I thought maybe if I got the population off the polls, I might be able to, but it's very, very hard. Whereas, he's just a click away and he can tell you exactly what it is. So I'll be doing that afterwards. But back to that, where Jeannie lives, she is up
And what community is she in?
Victoria Cross.
She's in Victoria Cross. And
Yeah.
Victoria Cross, you're saying, should be in
Well,
3.
if you're not necessarily, but in one of your sample maps, you are taking in Jeannie and me, for that matter.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that last comment.
In your sample map, you are taking in Jeannie and actually me. I live on the Union Road, but I'm also in the Victoria Cross district.
Okay.
And actually Montague wanted us to go in with them the last time, and we kicked up, we didn't want to go, but all of us pay fire dues and.
You all go to Montague?
Oh, yeah, we only-
Montague way.
Only 6 minutes away, right?
And
But-
I'm sorry, before I forget, I didn't get your first name.
Muriel,
Muriel Power.
right.
Okay.
Thank you.
And Muriel, can you just clarify, is it the second of the sample maps that you're saying makes more sense, has Valleyfield in or has
Well, it's hard to tell.
Victoria Cross, or,
Samples, right?
Yeah. The sample map
They are,
I
but-
was looking at was on the website, but there wasn't 3 of them, there was only 2.
okay.
And the one that I looked at took in the Union Road, and it looked like it split New Perth right out to Pools Corner and back down. That's what it looked like to me.
Okay.
That's why I wanted to meet with your software people.
Yeah.
But,
You can bring it up now.
okay. 2.
Terry, the third one.
Yeah, they want the one going down. See, and that ties in with what Darlene Compton said. Darlene Compton said that Murray Harbour, Murray River don't fit in with Belfast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Might be. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Carol McLeod. I live 4 minutes up the road, the Valleyfield Road. I'm looking at these maps. I find it very difficult to interpret where these lines are going on these maps because there's no names of the places, for one
Okay.
thing. I think it could have been made so that we could see the names of the places in our area at least.
Okay.
Anyway, my comment basically is that I think the commission, is that what you call it?
Yep.
Commission should be very diligent in keeping communities together. Right now, we're undergoing a restructuring in the Montague area, Montague, Georgetown, Cardigan area, as I'm sure you know. And we're trying to develop community. The island is about community. On map number 1.1, for some weird reason, I don't know exactly where the line goes, Never Neverland perhaps, but we're in District 4 on map number 1.1. We have absolutely almost 99.9% no connection with that area. We are part of Montague in terms of the restructuring that's going on from Valleyfield. Our CIC is in that discussion. We shop there. We go to church there. Our kids go to school there. And I think I would really see that you be sensitive to communities across the island.
You're part of the Valleyfield CIC?
Yes. And the old, if I interpret 3.1, and I don't know where number 2 went, but it's not in here.
No, there's no 2.
There's no 2.
No.
That was disregarded already, I guess. But the next one, 3.1, if I'm reading that correctly, the line goes up the county line road. Am I correct?
Yep.
Yes? Right on.
You got it.
We're our farm is the Montague side of the county line road. So anyway,
So you like that one better?
Yeah, no, I like number 3.1 for me. But
Okay.
I think the whole outline of what the commission's doing, why they're doing it, and so on is right on. If I were in Stratford and I was represented by one person and had the percentages going that are going now, I would be upset too. And I support the commission 100%, but keep communities in mind,
Tell me
please.
this, if you take the amalgamation or community building that's going on that you're referring to, would you have any idea of the number of people that we're talking about?
I can answer that.
Okay,
Yeah, Brian is the chair of that,
okay.
our steering committee.
I'm Brian Harding, Chair of the Steering Committee for the Regionalization.
Thank you.
You know, now, we came in late, and we're looking at this map, and
Which one are you looking at?
1-1.
Okay,
And it doesn't matter whether it's 1-1 or 1-2. I would say, or 1-3. If we looked at 1-3, that's closer to the wards that we've tentatively got drawn out now for the whole area. The question I have is you asked the question, how many people are involved in the region? And our
Yes.
latest figures, and the figures we're going on, is 7,800. But if I total up 2, 3, and 4, we're talking 10,000.
okay.
Now, I don't know where the lines are drawn. It might be in some
Yeah.
overlap up in Ward 2, but there's no overlap in 3, 4, and the southern part of 2.
Yeah, are you talking, when you say, you're
On
you're
this.
talking those numbers, are you talking the population or are you
Yeah, well,
talking?
you've got proposed district population in 2,
Yeah.
3, 4. That's over 10,000.
No, 10,
But we've been working on 7,800.
okay.
Okay, and how we've got it broken down, because we want to keep the communities together, is we're going to be on a 12-ward system, and with representative from each of the incorporated, from unincorporated, and then if it goes through, 3 from Montague, and it's based on a 600 to 650 population.
Have you got a plan or a map of that somewhere?
I don't have it with me, but we've got tentative maps. We're not all the way there yet in
I
getting
understand
everything
that,
straightened
yeah.
around.
Yeah.
But I can understand what you're saying is that our whole point to this, the questions that we've got, the biggest questions, 2 questions, the biggest questions that we've got from the residents in the region is how much are our taxes going to go up, and are we going to keep our community identity? And if we'd gone to a 6-counselor situation, nobody would have had community identity. You know, you'd have been averaging 1,200 people, 1,200
Oh, yeah.
people per ward.
Yeah.
And that's why we got approval from the government, if it goes ahead, to have 12. So everybody is going to be represented from the community, or are going to have representatives from the community they're in. And I understand that.
So
you
you're
know,
bringing together, you're telling me, are you 12 communities?
No, we've got 7 incorporated communities.
Yeah.
And then we've got unincorporated in the Montague Fire District, unincorporated in the Georgetown Fire District, and unincorporated area in the Cardigan Fire District. But looking at if you look at 3-1, if there's no overlap, I've got a feeling that our figures are a little bit low when we're talking about that. But you have to, if it goes ahead, we will be the 4th largest region in PEI, incorporated municipality. But the whole point to it is we've tried to keep the communities together.
You say if it goes ahead, so what stage are you at now?
We would probably be able to give that answer better in a month.
Okay.
You know, we're a lot closer than it's
You're
been
closer
it's
than
been
further
a long
away.
process, but we're in discussions with the government and so
Okay.
on. But I think that I agree that the people in the communities, you know, you're piling on a boundary commission realignment. At the same time, we're trying to accomplish something here, and to me, they have to be close together. So I would say, my opinion would be is if before you make the decision, you have to get involved with the steering committee of the regionalization to see what those boundaries are. Because we can't be at odds. Pardon? Pardon me?
It's federal, when you're taking in Connecticut. No, it's a
No, no. Just the communities and provincial. Yeah, yeah, so.
Go ahead.
Connecticut there, which is federal, it's Montague.
No, I'm talking, the
Just
seven
stop.
communities
Hmm?
involved in the regionalization
Yeah.
are Cardigan, the incorporated,
But they're not gonna work
Georgetown,
next time.
Cardigan, Lower Montague, Brudenell, Bellevue, that's 7, right? And then we've got the unincorporated communities in each fire district.
Just a moment, before you go, we are under a timeline. I don't know whether you realize that. We have 6 months from the date we are appointed to report, and if we can't do it within that time frame, they'll give us an extension of up to 3 months, possibly.
What is your timeline?
So our
As
Well, we would have to be done by no later than the 6th of June.
It'll fit in the timeline.
Okay.
You know,
So-
like I think we don't know whether it's going to go ahead or not. You know,
Yeah.
there's still some stuff that has, but if it goes ahead, it will probably go ahead close on the wards. You know, the boundaries that we've done for the wards, and we have that.
And you have that, and you could supply that.
Yeah.
So, can you?
Right. As a matter of fact, Christine McKinnon has that information too. We've been working closely with Christine McKinnon.
Christine McKinnon is whom?
She's with Lands and Environment,
Okay.
Oh,
and she's from Valleyfield.
okay, but just, unless it's presented to us in some form, we don't take it into consideration. So would you be prepared to present something to us in writing, outlining what your area is, and that will say
Yeah.
what roads
Yeah.
you're taking in?
Yeah.
And just one other point of clarification, these numbers here that you're looking at in the maps, those are electors, so it's not population, it's voters. We have to look at voters.
Well, if we're looking at population of 7,800,
Right.
and you're looking at voters of 10,000, well, guarantee your figures are higher than what we're looking at, because if you got to think there's families there, right? So if we're looking at 7,800 population, that might correlate to
5,000.
5,000 or
5,000,
6,000,
yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So, which makes it more prevalent on the fact that if we're looking at 10,000 voters, then the population accepting the overlap is going to be higher
Well,
than what we're
10,000
looking
voters is obviously more than one district.
Yes, yeah.
But I'm just behind everybody else a little bit, I guess. Can you just explain to me where you're getting that 10,000 number? It's coming from our map somewhere, is it?
Well, if you total it up for District 2, 3, and 4, and that's voters, you've got 6,900, you got 10,300.
But maybe the communities that you listed off earlier, like, those don't go up towards St. Peter's or
No,
anything
they
like that,
don't
do
go
they?
up
They don't
towards,
go.
well, they go up to Riverton,
Carrie,
Okay.
get him to
out
list.
over to Baldwin, to Baldwin Road, up Baldwin Road to St. Augustus, I think. On the south side, it's Panmure, Sturgeon. On the west side, it's west of Valleyfield. Grandview.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we'd like to have as much information as we can. So like Lynn asked, if you could get us at least your draft
Yeah,
map,
yeah.
so that we can kind of overlay it on ours, and then we'll
Where do you want me to
know.
get that to you?
You can turn it into, if you just check with Paul.
Check Paul
can
behind you, and he'll
He'll,
give you an address and card.
Okay.
where you can-
but while we're here though, just so that we understand, you said there was seven incorporated communities, and I only got down 6 of them, so do you mind
Okay.
saying them
Montague.
again?
Oh, I bet you Miss Lorne Valley.
Yeah, that's the one I
Yeah,
was
Miss
missing.
Lorne Valley.
Here's all that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're talking about Cardigan, Georgetown, Montague, Lower Montague, Brudenell, Valleyfield, and Lorne Valley.
Yeah.
And then you said there was 3 unincorporated
There's-
entities under the 3 fire
What
districts.
we've done with the unincorporated is we have, the Montague Fire District has a larger population in the unincorporated area. So, they have 2 representatives on our committee. There's 2 representatives out of there. Cardigan and Georgetown's fire district is about the same population, so they have 1 representative on the committee.
So those districts would take in the majority of the people in Kings County.
Exactly.
There's only 17,000 people in all of Kings County.
Well, the board, you know, you're going from Grandview straight north, up Baldwin Road.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's the 3 fire districts.
But there's way more than 3 fire districts.
Yeah, like it's not taking in any of this, Gerard.
Yeah.
Not sorry.
no,
Yeah.
but I,
Or-
but,
or
but I'm
this.
wondering, like, where are the rest of the people?
It's partly in Queens County too.
Okay, it's partly Queens, yeah, okay, that's the,
If
that's
you-
the
if you
answer.
drew the line for the fire districts, I can get
Yeah.
you the other information, but
Okay.
if you get the line for the 3
Okay,
fire
so you cross
districts,
county
that's
lines.
where- That's where the 3 Rivers
Okay.
region that we're talking about,
The 3 fire districts,
Yeah.
okay.
okay?
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. That's it, they go into Queens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. What? Yeah, yeah.
Are you guys gonna, give a map once when you're at that stage?
We haven't decided yet. That's something that the commission will, has to meet and decide about.
It'd be a lot easier if we knew like where you're talking us.
Yeah.
But it's hard to make that decision until we hear from everyone on the island. And we're in the middle of these hearings now, hearing from the rest of people on the island. And the problem is when you, so you start at District 1 in Surrey, and looking at what the numbers are today, if it's too small and we're trying to add more electors to it, then it pushes it out somewhere or down. And then, as Gerard indicated, it has a domino effect for the rest of the districts. But we do want as much information from you as possible. So the sooner you can get that information to us, the better off
And
we'll be.
even if the information is just what you think is an appropriate district in your area, so that we can consider what you all think that the appropriate community groupings even are.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why we just presented samples. We don't want to presume anything before we traveled the island and gathered as much information as we can from people like you.
I did up the letter.
What?
It was my letter that he read.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Started the ball rolling.
Yep.
Yeah, good. No, that's what we need to hear, and, you know, unfortunately, some of the places we go, we're not getting very many people, but it's very important that we get this kind of information, because we don't have it otherwise.
The only other thing that I can say that.
If you want to go to the microphone, please.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, microphone.
I want you to go, I want you to.
Take the microphone to her then.
Yeah, just bring it over. to-
Bring it over.
Taped in.
Pull it out.
Muriel can get it for you.
Just pass the microphone around.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Small room.
Okay. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, the only thing.
Name first, though.
Jeannie Jackson.
Yeah.
The only other thing I have to say is, when they're doing all these districts, and I think it was a problem years ago, that we went and we got rid of a lot of our MLAs out in the rural area. And I know what you guys are saying is that you have to have the population base. But you look at District 2 and I think District 4, and it was such a wide area to cover for anybody to actually have to meet up with their member. And I think that puts all rural people in a disadvantage. But I understand that you people have to go by the numbers.
Do you think then it's a little bit harder to be a rural MLA and represent the people than it is for an urban one?
Definitely.
Because of the reason you're
Yes.
suggesting.
And so if you're in Charlottetown, it's my feeling only, but if I'm in Charlottetown, I can go to the mayor.
Yeah.
I can go to other community groups around me.
Mhm.
But if I'm out here in the country, I don't have a mayor because I'm in an unincorporated area. And my member is from District 2, and any school issues or any issues I have to do with Montague, not with District 2. But that's where I am. So it doesn't make any sense to me at all. Because, well, Stephen, he's in that district, he's the member, but he's concerned probably with Georgetown, Cardigan, St. Peter's, like it goes all the way out there. And here I am, sitting out at Knox's Dam, and I belong to that area and not to Montague. So that's why I wrote what I did.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll speak to that if you like. Stephen Myers. I'm the MLA for said district. I just want to talk about where we are today versus the maps, and in ways being a rural MLA, especially at election time, is much different than being an urban MLA. And as you would all know, I know all the MLAs, and the Charlottetown ones tell me they get through their districts twice because they can walk them. For me, if you get through once, you've done a tremendous job. Like the first time I was elected, I think I spent close to 8 weeks knocking on doors to hit them all. And because it's such a big district, I timed it one day to drive from in back of Knox's Dam, where the district starts, over to Monticello is about 55 minutes. So if during the election you had to go to an event in the middle of the day in Monticello or see somebody in Monticello, you have 2 hours gone. And I know you guys can't change that, and I can't change that. It's part of the process. But there's very little in the current map that dealt with communities of interest. And having represented St. Peter's, my second go through here now, and done well both times, so I'm not unpopular over there, but they very much feel disconnected from this part of the district, and I hear that all the time, that
Yeah.
they'd much sooner be with.
We've heard that at other meetings, somebody saying, what St. Peter's has nothing to do with Georgetown, sort of thing. Nothing against either one of them, but
And
it's just they're not,
the issues over here are a lot more common, the issues over there are a lot more common, but the swamp that's in the middle of us, there's no commonality between the north side. No district on PEI should go from north to south, unless the case where they have to in Surrey and Tignish. It's the issues are very cumbersome and different. I agree with communities of interest, and I agree with the Three Rivers idea or something like that. The people that live on this side of the district, they shop in Montague, they go to Montague High School, they play hockey in one of the two rinks, either Georgetown or Montague. The people know one another, and I guess it's more. It's almost, for me, it's almost an easier side of the district to represent, because when I go over to St. Peter's, there is a rink there, but it's only for a few months, and if the winter happens to be cold. There's not really a grocery store in the district. There's no coffee shop there. So the chances of just going to St. Peter's and running into someone is next to nil, unless I stood on the street and waved to people as they went by. So it's very easy to become disconnected from that end of the district. And you can't go door to door every month, because you're still not going to find anybody at home because people work. For the communities of interest, the people in St. Peter's would see Sidney McEwen all the time, because they're moving all in the same direction. They're represented by the same school, the same high school. The kids play soccer in the same organization, and they play hockey in the same organization. And while that may or may not be important to you folks as you make your decision, it's important to the people that are on the ground, because they're the ones, and I hear it all the time, and anybody who is involved politically would hear it all the time from the people in St. Peter's, that they feel like since this map has been in place, they've become completely disconnected from political reality. And as hard as I might try, it's a very hard thing to overcome. So I think that the communities of interest are over there and they're over here, and they are represented by things like high school districts, hockey districts, soccer districts.
So you see the districts generally running more east and west and north and south?
Yeah.
Would that be a general
I would,
comment?
yeah. Very much, it's very different if I were to start the morning in Georgetown campaign and end the day in Monticello. The issues are completely different.
Yeah.
The issues in Monticello are, there's no doctor in Surrey, or it's about Surrey because that's the direction that they travel. So they don't, the people up there, they're not even on the Morel part of it. They're from the Surrey side.
I was going to ask you about the St. Peter's area.
Yeah.
Where would you say it's aligned, more to Surrey or more to Morel? Or would it make
Morel.
a difference?
It'd be aligned to Morel.
Morel.
Yeah, very much aligned to Morel. But there's an upper part of the district here that runs across here, even Little Pond, because a lot of the kids in Little Pond go to school in Surrey. They were a dual zone up until maybe Monday night. They're not anymore. But a lot of the high school students go up there. A lot of the kids from there play hockey up in that direction. And the same if you go up through Farmington and that area, Selkirk. That's where they go to high school, is Surrey. That's where their friends are. That's where they shop. That's where their doctor is. Mm-hmm. So I know the District 1 has to grow. I don't think it's going to be too hard to find the commonality in the people who travel to Surrey anyways. But when you look at District 2, we currently don't have it. It's almost two separate and distinct districts operating as one. That's my view, having represented it for 6 years.
Okay, so-
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think. Is if you look at the 3-1,
3-1, yes.
where you have that narrow pink section, right across there. It's see this part right here. It's just a narrow little strip. Nobody lives in there. There's nobody lives in there. There's literally nobody lives in there.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch.
Just this little strip here. Like
Oh,
that
yeah,
would be-
that's a no man's land.
Yeah, that no man's land is a great natural barrier. My opinion.
Listen, I have relatives that live in that area.
I do too.
Sorry, Carrie.
My mom and dad lived there too. So
Okay, another lady here.
So they would say the Greenwich Peninsula,
Mary Ellen McGuinness, and I live in District 5 in Cherry Valley, and some people know that I was the candidate for the Conservatives for the last 2 elections in that district. So just want to follow up. I went to the one in the town of Stratford, was a few minutes late for that one. It was interesting to hear that, and this is the other end of the district, because if anybody looks at District 5, it comes to the County Line Road, and it takes in Grandview, it takes in Valleyfield, it takes in 3 poles in the town of Stratford, and it takes in where I live in Cherry Valley and all that area as well. So we're a true urban-rural divide, community, I shouldn't say divide, but the more of what I've heard in Stratford and what I hear tonight, everybody wants their communities together, and we understand that for sure, because we have a great little community where I live in Cherry Valley and Earnscliffe. So I think it's important, and Stephen made great points. I'll speak as a former candidate as well. Although my territory is not as large, it still takes a lot of time to cover when you're you do a lot of driving to find the houses. And then in the Stratford area, when I'm campaigning there, it's great, I can park the car and walk. But depending on where you are, it makes a huge difference. I think the town of Stratford made a very good point, number-wise, when Mike changed the map up there, where they are with population base, and to see what will work. So it'll just be interesting to see, I know you guys have a big task, and I don't welcome or wouldn't want the job at all to do it, just to see how you can realign and see where everybody can fit. But I do think it's very important, and I really feel the way District 5, even on both of these maps, both of the versions, although you've shortened it up quite a bit, I'll be quite honest, the people, and if anybody here from Grandview or Valleyfield, no insult, but I'm sure they didn't have anything in common with the people in Stratford in District 5 in the last few years, and vice versa. There was no commonality there at all, because their concerns, the people at this end of the district do everything in Montague. When I campaigned, I had to come to Montague. You have to come to Montague and be seen by the people that
live in the Grandview area and you know, in the Albury Plains area too, we come right to the county line road. So people at that end of the district do a lot of their business in Montague. Personally, we still do business in Montague. We may live in Cherry Valley, but our daughter played soccer down here, figure skated down here, and we did sports in the other direction as well. Pownell's a home rink. So we're kind of in the middle there where we are. We do things in both directions. So it's good points. Just that I think it's really important to try to keep the communities together as much as we can in their like interests.
Thank you. Anything further? It's pretty good stuff. I don't want to stop now.
Maybe what we do is we pull up, ask him to pull up a map for 2 or 3 and show us on the map where they think their communities are.
Yeah. Let's, Lynn is just saying here, maybe we should get up, pull up 2, 3, and 4, and well, they're already there, and see where you people kind of think the boundary should be. You can see the names of the places there and have a closer look.
Well, like I said in my letter, like I think the main road coming from Cherry Valley to Montague, I think that should be a split there. Maybe I'm wrong, but
So that's 3, right?
The main road coming from Cherry, where you turn left and,
when you go to Cherry Valley, like two corners.
yeah,
Because
no,
the ones that are on the other side of the road, I believe, go to Cardigan School. And the ones on the other, one side go to Montague, the other side go to Montague.
okay.
So Terry, can you pull that up?
Where are you talking?
She's here.
Where do you wanna see? 2, 3, and 4 is there.
On Highway 3.
I think they want, if you say on your Cherry Valley,
See, 60.
See, like maybe.
Yeah, tell him, ask him.
Mr. Harding?
Yes.
How possible would it be for you to walk Terry Allen here through the, where you think these boundaries are approximately, the draft ones? And we could get an idea of how many people are in that.
Yeah, even if
Zone.
it's a big area.
Do one
Yeah.
big one,
And-
Terry, and then we'll see how many people we've got, how many voters we've got.
Turn on the municipal matters too, 'cause I'm sure they.
Can you turn on fire zones, because that'll give us the. What?
fire zones.
Yeah, yeah, you got the fire districts.
Then you'll have it as a street.
I'll just make another comment about school districts then as well. Like in that District 5 right now, we'd have children going to probably at least 4 school districts. We'd have children going to Glen Stewart and Vernon River and Belfast. So 3 school districts and both then the 2 high schools to Montague and Charlottetown Rural. So it takes in 3 school districts as well. Like the children at the Newtown Crossroad, that very last end of the district that way, they go to Belfast. And then children go to Vernon River, and then we have children going to Glen Stewart. So 3 school districts as well.
Okay.
Does anyone from District 5 go to Donut? No?
We got, Terry and I have been working on
Yeah, there would,
Yeah,
not necessarily because
yeah, yeah. I don't have a clue. What the school board, she said, unless you know what the school board's coming out. No. Otherwise,
I should make a comment that in our figures,
we gotta record you, that's all.
We want to know this later, too.
Yeah.
in the figures that we're working off of, 60% of the population in the Three Rivers region is south of Highway 3 over to Panmure Island, Gaspereau, including the unincorporated. So you got Brudenell, Lower Montague, Valleyfield, Montague, and the unincorporated areas. 60% of the population, the figures that we've got, is in that area, south of. And then you've got Cardigan, Lauren Valley, the unincorporated, and the two fire districts. So that's how we've worked all our figures out on too. So.
Okay, thank you.
So are we good here?
Is that a map of fire? So do you take, oh, yes, that's fire districts. Do you take in all of the fire districts?
Yeah. The Montague Fire District
That's this
Is-
purple.
is 60% of the population of the three rivers that we're looking at.
Montague, Cardigan, Georgetown Fire District.
No, Montague Fire District.
No, but
Yeah, those are
And
your
then you've got the the Georgetown Fire Districts here,
And this is current.
and this is Cardigan over there.
So
So that's the area that you're looking at, and it goes up to, we're going up Baldwin Road, we're going up St. Teresa, I think, and just past. And Lauren Valley's in here, and then it goes up to Riverton, right, Peg?
Riverton Road was
Yeah.
as far as we went, north, I think.
So it encompasses launching, Cardigan North, and that would be the Georgetown Fire District, I think, but, so that's the area that you're looking at.
Okay,
And then I can give you the information, like the maps that we've got drawn out that are involved in.
and you'll get them to Terry.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
So Terry,
Terry, can you tell us how many
Paul,
electors?
sorry. What's he doing here?
He's gonna tell us how many electors in these three fire districts.
Oh, yeah.
Now that he's got them marked off on the map,
because
and then
that's
we'll know.
right, and then we'll know.
How many
And then
districts?
It could be two,
Maybe
it could be
it's
two.
Could be two
districts.
districts if it's that many people.
That's right. If it's, if we're 2, 3, and 4, right? So there's only a few over here.
Yeah, there's not many here, from here up.
Oh, but then, see, the before.
But the
would be-
before come,
But
yeah.
4 would, so yeah, 2 and 3, they're probably looking at 2 and 3 as opposed to 2, 3, and 4.
Pretty much, 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Hardly any.
Hmm? No, not two, this,
Yeah.
If you, you know, there's so much people.
Well, there are, you know, there. I think we may have to do 2 or 3 meetings at the end of it,
well,
maybe one in each county.
might be. Maybe we, the big thing we're gonna have to decide is whether we give them a map.
I think you'd have to, I think you'd have to.
So we'd have to have a map with a dead.
That one looks like more like what you know now. For one at least, not
I know
two.
where Benji and Hayden's live. Okay. So,
Oh, yeah, that's existing.
so is it the side that Benji, Marie, and the Dennis and everything live on, go to Montague?
That's, if I'm going up, this part here, you know, where you're street is. So if I'm going up to, that's the road that I take up to. If I,
and these people down here, like, take, Georgetown. They're a bit more happy. They may not get along with Montague.
Terry's coming up with a number of.
They still, in any district they're in, they're still making a vote. They're still hearing a voice as well.
Please feel free to take.
Versus, you know, people in here never be hearing it. Big stick. Oh, yeah, but they remove one and it's.
Yes.
But your answer, I think, is right here. That gives you a whole extra. It's not a bad idea. It gives you numbers and you're again to play with.
It has nothing to do with schools or closing.
And you know what? It's hard to find somebody who can run, who knows enough people, you know, and here, every election.
I guess it's just different things, you know, they're looking at electoral boundaries, they're not looking at school districts or anything else. It's really looking at the fair electoral system.
So, it is, and you know what? It's a lot more expensive, like, I'm not gonna take gas and
But I don't think anything in your rules is what I'm saying. I don't think it has anything to do with schools. Makes it tough.
I mean, it is what it is. I knew what I was saying. I was guessing. I ran out of money. Knowing what I know, it's true. Knowing what I know now, I know the district running in east-west versus west. Much more favorable for everybody. If a map came out that had this together, it wouldn't matter if it went right to here. Everybody in here would be happy. It'd be like unified. Well, there's a lot of the community aspect of it. There's a lot of little intricacies, I guess. I know Indians except two politics.
That's where Janice is.
And I only lived 15 minutes from it my entire life. But we don't know and that was work. Nobody traveled to north south. Everybody travels east and west. We go to Charlotte. If we can't find it here, we go to Charlottetown. And they do the same. If they can't find it here, they go to Charlottetown.
Well, the other thing is that we're all neighbors. We all see each other everywhere. It's ridiculous.
It'd be interesting to see what the
For us
final
to be,
map looks like.
not focused on everyone working together.
Ultimately, for me, just
So I had to go over it.
And to have a larger voice someplace, more sway. Right now,
Be twice as long to go that way as it would
but I was
go
thinking
back.
of things like, medical care, like doctors and things like that, that you have people now who speak with one voice or one group and leadership that represents. Whenever you said, we can't go see the you have everyone involved in the same spot. Same thing with Stratford, they've gotten so much more power since they've taken in Bunbury and, surrounding areas like that, so.
That's why I think
And everybody does travel already.
Well, and that's, I remember Lawrence Macaulay once saying that whenever you're a rural representative, you represent the people, and that you have to keep that in mind.
In the 3 fire districts?
Yes.
So that would correlate to the 7,800, give or take.
And 4,800 is, of course, more than one district.
Okay.
Okay, well, that's helpful. The big question would be how you share them.
If you use like your school districts,
Pardon me?
use your school districts as part
You
of,
suggest the school districts?
I think it should go by some of that, yes.
Okay.
But even those are in flux right now, like
I know.
it seems like you're trying to nail something down where there are other things involved that are being processed and that they're never going to
never gonna be there, meet at the same time, yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah.
it's
Well,
like nailing down hello.
yeah. There's a whole lot of things going on, but one's not speaking to the other.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's the story of government and stuff forever, isn't
Yeah,
it?
that's,
But, it's a matter of weeks, I would say, like with the decision with the schools is supposed to take place next Monday. And with our, Three Rivers regionalization program, we're looking at making some progress this summer. And your deadline is mixed in there.
That's right.
Things that were at cross purposes.
Yeah.
I'm finished, but.
well, that was good. Anything further by way of submissions? I must say this has been one of our better meetings, so we really appreciate your commentary here, and I think we'll find it helpful. So if you've got anything further to add, we'd take that too. Take all we can get, in other words.
On the version there, 3.1, I don't see.
Could you want to get the mic, ma'am? So they'll get it for you.
Just a quick question. Name. Hello, my name is Barb McLean. I'm apparently in District Number 4, I think. Anyway, on this 3.1 map, I don't see where 10, 11, and 12 are, or 13.
Oh, they're the insert, up above on the right side.
They're Charlottetown.
They're
Charlottetown
Charlottetown.
district.
The urban districts are up on by themselves.
Oh, pardon me.
Because they would be too small to see on the
Okay,
main
because
map.
they're not quite in there.
Yeah.
Just for clarification, in District Number 4, on the north part,
Yeah.
what would be that main, is that like the county line road on the north part where the dark line is?
The dark line would have been the old district,
The old boundary line.
the old boundary
Okay, so
line.
now went above,
Yeah.
it's,
It's above there.
Yeah,
it's above there.
yeah.
Okay, so where?
Again, these are just proposed,
Yes,
not
sir.
proposed, I mean samples, so.
So what would
That could
be?
change.
What would be where would actually end the yellow right there? What road? Yes, ma'am. What road would that be? Or where, what vicinity?
No. Well, she's looking,
Yeah,
County line.
it'd be District Number 4.
Dundee Road. Dundee Road, and that's county line.
So that would be the,
Dundee. Is it Dundee?
yeah,
Dundee Road?
it's in the, it's not really much.
Not really worth calling a road.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, because then the Little Robbins Road is right there next to it to really, yeah. The Dundee Road right now is where I'm gonna use the term the Monkettes head, that's where their
Oh, yeah.
establishment is.
Okay.
The nuns, the monks, yeah.
Just off the Murray Harbor Road.
So that's part of District 5 right now,
right on.
per District 5.
So you just
Thank you
turn
very
left.
much.
You turn,
There you go, sir.
you turn right to go down to, Murray Harbor.
Murray Harbor, Murray River, where would that naturally associate with? More Montague than? No, but I mean, well, okay, let's say Montague or Belfast. Well, I got different answers there.
Unless they close the school, if they close the school, then it would have to go more to Southern Kings, right?
You share a hockey system, that's why I say Belfast.
No, it's actually Montague and Murray River. It's Montague. Yeah. I would have said that too, but.
Now, I asked that because somewhere before I heard different points of view on that, so, and I guess Did again. Yeah, still same answer.
That said, I don't live in that direction.
I know.
Yeah, but I think Stephen was right, that they go with themselves more than the surrounding community.
But they don't have enough for a district,
No.
so they have to be with somebody.
Spirit, however.
Okay, if there's nothing further, we're going once, going twice, so we'll adjourn. Thank you for coming, and
Thanks very much.
we really appreciate your attendance.